Hey YouTube, and thanks for watching Junkworks Garage. Well, I got a new camera, and I'm about to show you with my old camera, one of my very first ones I ever started with, because this one is no longer working anymore. Well, I need to get through this fast because the camera I'm filming on right now, as you can see, is not a great camera. It was one of my first cameras. I think it was the second camera I ever used, and I have lost the battery charger, but somehow this battery still has some charge to it. Unfortunately, I'll show you later what happened to my latest camera that I bought not that long ago. And I'm showing in front of you this Sony camera right here. And here it is. It's the Sony ZV-E10 camera. Cost a lot more than I wanted to pay for a camera, but I'll also talk about that a little bit later because yet again I'm running on borrowed time here on this battery. So it came with the strap, a battery, and this what a lot of people call, I believe, the dead cat or something like that. It looks more, I would call it a rabbit's foot, something like that. Either way, it's for wind resistance. I have done some testing with this already just to kind of figure out the camera. So this is actually saying it's got a full battery, so I'm going to go ahead and show you a few things. Hopefully you can see and hear me. I know I had a lot of problems with this camera. People couldn't hear me. Hopefully this camera does better than that. My last camera I will say, had great audio, I think, compared to the one I'm filming on right now especially. You get the camera. It does not come with this. I bought this because I like having these, and for the most of the filming I'm going to be doing, this would just get in the way, so I'm not going to be putting that on. I have put it on, works fine, it's easy to put on. You just run it through the two things on the side here and you're good to go. But I put this on, I bought it separately, and I got that in this system here, all in a thing from Amazon. If I can figure out a price, I'll put it down below. But that also comes separately. This came in this box here, inside this cover, which is pretty nice. And we'll go through some real quick stuff on the camera. Hopefully I'll be able to show you a few things later on if I can maybe get a camera down the road. So the battery goes in here, and you shove that down in here. You also put your SD card down in here. Now that is the downside to this one. None of my SD cards will film 4K, I don't believe, with this camera. That's something I haven't seen in any other videos. With this camera, you definitely need to have a high definition, I think it's S. I don't know about this stuff. I am not the guy to go to for camera knowledge, we'll put it that way, or even computer knowledge. But it's like the SDU1 or SDU2 SD cards that you need to buy for these. All I know is the 2s are stupid expensive, and I got some 1s on the way, so I'll still be able to do 4K, maybe not as great, but in my videos, if you watch my videos, they don't need a lot of 4K in them anyways. So regardless, the SD card goes in here as well, and you close this and it will open up if you don't hit the switch there and turn it off. On this side here, you got the lens, which that's what the rest of this is a cover piece for this. It came with 3 of them, and this right here for not very much money. And since this is an expensive camera to me anyways, I went ahead and bought one of those, and I keep that flipped inside. It will also, well, hold on, I'm going to close that back up, make sure you get that closed. But it will also flip all the way around and this way as well, so that I can start seeing stuff in front of the camera and be able to watch here and know if it's filming me or not. I don't know how many times on my old camera I've had it stop working and I didn't even know it, and I had to refilm a bunch of stuff. But regardless, there you go. Now you know when I'm not using it, that goes inside so that won't get scratched as well. It'll last a little bit longer. Also, something that it didn't show when I bought this is I bought some extra ones of these right here, and that right there comes with it, so you don't need to buy extra ones. But something that didn't come with it is this right here, which is a UV filter thing that's clear. I bought that purely to keep my lens as clean, and if I do welding or grinding or whatever, I don't mind getting, you know, having to replace a $7 lens compared to a who knows how much this cost. I did get the kit lens with it because everybody says it does good. We will see if it worked for me. I hope it does. You'll know later on in the future if you think my videos are any better with this than my other one. We'll see. I'm going to back up a little bit here. I will be able to use my SD cards, I should say, in this. This is a little harder to put on with that cap, but it actually does. You can put the lens cover on there, or the UV cover, as well as that on. This, you just got to fiddle with it a little bit more and then it'll stay on there, but it doesn't stay on as well as it does in the lens there, but it does stay on regardless. Now I'm going to go back with the SD cards in here. It will use the other SD cards, but it will not film in 4K. I'm not sure if I made that understood. So my first few videos, I'm going to be using the SD cards that I have. And depending on what I'm doing, I'll probably still use the SD cards because I can still film in high definition, just not 4K. So now this right here, this is the speaker that you'll be able to hopefully hear me out of without me buying a bunch of stuff extra to be able to do sound. But if it's windy out, you can put that on there, and this is, I guess, pretty darn good. Everybody says this has great sound as far as the camera, so we will find that out later, the both of us as well. I have in testing realized that a lot of people say put this down to like 12. I did that. I'm gonna have to put it back up to the top because on my computer, when I had it all the way ramped up as far as I can, as far as volume, you could hear me, but not near as well as if I just turn it all the way up. So I'm gonna have to mess with the sound stuff. So be aware that you can change the sound around and how much it picks up. And if you want to use this for your microphone, you're going to have to go into those settings and mess with it. I have a feeling a lot of people, some people say it's great sound, some people say it's not. In my opinion, if you put it down to 12, it's not. You got it ramped all the way up, it seemed to work pretty darn good for me. But to each their own. Now on the side here, where the hinge is, I kept trying to flip something open here. It's really not very good instructions as far as this. So I was like messing with this, couldn't figure out. Finally found this right here, which up here, that is for headphone use. No, this is for your microphone, sorry. Up here in the top is for your microphone. If you want to put a different microphone with this, you can use that there. So if you go in where the hinge for the screen is here, put your thumb in there, that opens that door up right there, and that gives you access to your different things, including what you have to charge this battery with. I do not like that. I have also some batteries and a charger on the way. Some people say that your time with the batteries are great. Some people say they don't last very long at all. Yet again, left to be seen for me, but my biggest point I don't like about this camera is to charge the battery in the camera right now. I don't have that with me, but it does come with a plug-in and a USB cord that plugs into here and charges your battery up. But then this has to sit out on my counter where who knows what will knock it over, or it'll get damaged. So I don't like that, and usually I'm charging my batteries in my garage, which is even worse. So I don't want to leave my camera uncovered in my garage where it can get damaged to charge it. So I do have a charger and batteries on the way. Also in here, you have a headphone jack, so you can actually listen to the video through headphones in here. And you can also hook it to your computer or your TV and play stuff through this on your screen. And you can also, I guess, use it for a camera for your computer that would be better than what's in your computer. Now right here for the cap, there is a button down here that you push and twist this, which allows that to come off. There's a little pin right there, so when you bring it back, you probably couldn't hear that, but there's an audible click you can hear, which tells you that is clicked back in. You got your, what they call a shoe for your flash right here. I am not going to go through all the settings. What I am going to say is I'm going to put a name in the screen somewhere here, and hopefully the title of the video. It's kind of a longer title, but regardless, a name that you can go check out. It's about 2-year-old as of now, so this is December of 2023, so about 2 years ago. I found a video. The guy does an awesome, I believe his name is John, I cannot remember, sorry about that. Yet again, name in the screen and the title. But he did an awesome video on a beginner's guide to how to use this, up to some more advanced things of how to use this as well. And there's no way I'm going to touch that video with a 10-foot pole as far as me and how I know how to do this. I do know there's a few things in here I've changed to how I want to use it, but to each their own on that. You got to figure that all out. And the instructions will not show you all the stuff on this, what you get in the box. You have to, for some reason my camera shut off. This is my old camera yet again. So I don't know what you got of that. Hopefully you got what I needed you to. But this camera will do way more than I'll ever be able to use it for, because I'm not a photographer, and I am definitely not a videographer either. I am an automotive person who enjoys doing videos. That's about it. Anyway, it is a really good camera so far, but I've only had it for, you know, a few days now, so that'll be yet to be seen. I know it's much better than the one that I had before, which I'm going to end this here for this. And we are going to use this camera to start filming the rest of this video. Real quick, I'm not sure if I showed this to you. I also bought this cover. It should fit on there, also fairly cheap. Well, this is my first time actually filming with this. I'm hoping it comes out. That's kind of why I'm doing this video with it, so that if you're looking at this particular camera, you know kind of basically how it comes. Now, I have said a couple things differently, but actually I turned the volume down like people said. But now I have it back to where it originally was set out of the box. And I haven't messed with color or any of that kind of stuff, so this is pretty well the way it came out of the box. I did change a couple of things so that instead of hitting the record button, I hit the button in front of that, the one that you normally take pictures with. It'll still take pictures, but it'll also now record with that one. Because as people say, the way this fits in your hand, I'm fairly comfortable. A lot of people don't like it. I have put the casing on it as well, that red case or cover thing, and that seems to be fitting good and working fine, and it's kind of a little bit more grippy, which is nice. But also, where my finger naturally wants to hit is where that picture button, or the front one where you zoom. I can zoom in and zoom out. I did set the zoom slower because a lot of people say it zooms too fast and makes for jittery stuff, so that's not the way it'll zoom for you. It'll probably zoom faster, but now I'm zooming a little bit slower just so it stays more steady. I am holding it by hand. I'm within about a foot, not even probably, of the speaker, so hopefully it's not too loud. If I do have a problem with the volume, I will edit it, and I will put that in when I do my editing and tell you if I had to turn down the volume from where I'm at right now. So here is the reason why, as you can see, I am using or had to buy a new camera. Is that right there. Now, I have a video on this one as well when I bought it, after I destroyed that one right there, although it wasn't this destroyed. I have a video I am going to actually put in right now of when I destroyed that camera, because it hurt very much, so I'm going to get as much out of that footage as I can. So here you go, I'm going to put that in right now. Two broken. Son of I should have stopped. Now you know what happened to that camera. Then this one right here also hit the ground, but it was closed. That right there was all the way in the camera. It barely dropped, not very bad at all. I'm getting more situated here, and I am holding this by hand. I don't know if I think I already told you that, so that I can get an idea of how shaky things are and when I move and if I use this by hand. So hopefully I don't make any of you too awful sick out there. But regardless, I was able to turn it on, and this came out a little ways, and we'll see if the focus, this is on autofocus, this is how it focuses. But anyway, this one right here is what I'm looking at. Anyhow, it hit the ground when it was off. I picked it up thinking crap, and yep, I was right. It did not want to come on, and it said error. And then I messed with this right here, and kind of pulled it and pushed it and turned it and put some alcohol, sprayed a little alcohol in there to see if that would maybe lube it up a little bit. And I was able to get it to actually come on, but it wouldn't focus at all. So somehow when I dropped it, it knocks this out. And that seems to be the problem with all these. Now I got one here. You probably can't tell. There's actually two of these cameras right here. And these are the Canon SX610. And I think one of them was a 610, which is the one I'm using there. And the other two are 600s, I think. I don't know. But anyways, one of them's a 610 and there's two 600s. But regardless, there's two here. One was my daughter's, a dog got a hold of. I went ahead and took it because I had this one here, and I figured I could use that one for parts to fix this one. When I broke this one, I couldn't get to it and figure it out. Then I broke that one. I said, dang it, I'm going to figure out how to fix this, because that one's only like a year old, if even that. I think I bought it this year. And I spent used on eBay a couple $100 for that, and now they're still the same price. And they're a little bit more, actually, 200 to 250 bucks for that stinking camera for less than a year's worth of use. Now, yeah, I bought the camera I'm looking at right now for a lot more money, but I also have a 3-year warranty. If I drop this, supposedly, you may find out the way I've been dropping cameras lately, but supposedly this one will be fixed if I do. Now the other thing, this is the main reason, when I pulled these all apart, I got them to a specific spot, right about here, and this would flop out, and so I was like, okay, I need to figure out, something is wrong with this. Every single one of these, this is the part that got damaged and wouldn't work anymore. So I figured, well, maybe I can tear it apart and tear that one apart and see if I can try and make something work. Well, as you can see, you have to tear it way, way apart with little tiny screws that barely, my fingers don't work well enough to be messing with those. But anyway, and then I tried tearing one of these apart. I think it's the other one, I don't know. Tearing one of these apart, and really, no matter what screws I pull out, no matter what I do, you can't really get into this without breaking little plastic pieces to fix that. So I just stopped, and we have this camera now. Regardless, most of this, hopefully some of you will enjoy it, and if you, yet again, if you just bought this camera, you kind of have a good idea pretty much out of the box what it's going to be like, what it's going to look like, and I'm getting an idea what it's going to sound like, look like, and be like as well. This camera is a lot heavier, or quite a bit, yeah, a lot heavier. But size-wise, if you really look at this part of it right here, is not a ton bigger. It's probably a little over. It's probably, you know, that much more. Which, if you put the top on here, you know, that gets a little bit thicker. Anyways, so it's not a ton bigger in size, but the actual camera weighs quite a bit more. But this has a lens on it that I can pop off and put on, as to where these ones don't. So I'm hoping anyway, if or when I drop this one here, that I'll be able to just maybe have to change a lens out. Yeah, that's probably another couple $100. Wow, I'm really off on my side to side there. I'm going to go ahead and put you on a tripod so you have an idea of what it's like on a tripod, a little bit further away from my volume, because I normally, when I'm filming, I'm either filming like this or I'm in front of the camera quite a ways away working on something. So I'm going to go ahead and put you on a tripod, and we're going to look at that as well. A couple things about the actual camera I decided I should probably put in here. Yet again, this is pretty much out of the box what you're going to end up with. One thing, I did go in and I turned it so it won't shut off after 30 minutes. I made it so that's off, so it'll keep going as long as I film. So you need to make sure, if you're like me and I tend to do automotive stuff or homeowner DIY stuff. So if you're like me, where you're doing a project, and you're looking at your project, not so much the camera very often, if it's set where it goes off after a certain amount of time, it's going to go off. This thing was only set for, I think, 5 minutes or something like that. So that would have drove me nuts if I hadn't figured out how to turn that off. You can do like 30 minutes and then it'll shut off. I believe that's what this camera does, is about 30 minutes and then it shuts itself off, which always drove me nuts as well, because I end up missing a lot of good footage and I end up having to redo it, and it doesn't ever turn out as well usually the second time around, which normally you'd think after I had the practice I'd do better, but I don't. I turned that off, and I did also, a lot of people say turn it to where it's on high as far as when it turns itself off for overheating. Yet again, you need to do your own research on that. A lot of people say to do that and that it won't harm the camera. I'm hoping that's true, because I did that. You need to decide for yourself. I'm not responsible if you choose to do so. I also changed it to the program auto instead of intelligent auto, so I'm filming on that right now. Yet again, that's more to figure out if I should or not. It should still do everything it does automatically, only it just allows me to set a few things differently. Yet again, go check out that guy's video on this camera. He has a really good, shows you how to do everything on this camera. It's a long, like an hour and a half, but it's well worth watching. One other thing about this camera, this one, I hit a button and it turns off, I hit a button and it turns on. This one has a switch, and I really don't like the switch. About the only gripe so far I really have with this camera is that. The rest of it I'm so far pretty impressed with. So I think that's about it as far as what I've changed on this camera. I will be changing to 4K high def stuff when, or 4K. Right now I'm in high def, but 4K when I get my SD card. Well, hopefully I don't look at this little lens over here. I will say, from this far away, I definitely cannot tell what I look like, but I can tell kind of where I'm at in the frame. I can also tell I'm probably a little bit crooked, but I can't see the little lines on the screen at all. But the biggest thing is I turned the red light off. That is one setting I changed, which yet again won't change the way it films. But I turned that red light off in the front that tells you when you're recording, just because I think that would bug me. But I can see there's a red box around the screen that shows that I'm recording. So now I know when I'm recording, or when that thing turns off, or if for some reason I'm doing something and I'm out of the screen, which happens a lot on my videos, especially with my head. I tend to film my body a lot without my head, and it's not on purpose, and I know you're not supposed to do that, so hopefully this camera will help with that as well. So that brings me to why, if you're all here, hopefully you're still here, but why I didn't buy another one of these. I'll tell you, if you can get one of these Canon SX 610s or 600s, whatever they work great. I think they work great. The sound in them is great. They zoom out a long way. I think even pretty much further than this one, I'm pretty positive. So you can get some pretty close-up stuff from far away. And the sound, you can hear me. I haven't had complaints about my blah blah blah, or that I mumble too much since I started using this camera right here. So my old camera was a lot of the reason why I had my mumbling problems. Plus I've worked on the fact that I do mumble some. And I go on and on and on as I'm doing right now. But yet again, the reason why I bought this camera instead of one of those is mainly I can change the lenses on it for other shots once I'm able to make a few bucks from these videos and buy a lens. Or it'll also take way better pictures than this one. It'll do 4K. That one doesn't do 4K. Although I am not in 4K, I should say that. I'm not in 4K right now. I don't have an SD card that'll allow me to shoot in 4K on this camera. So I don't have that. But I'll be able to change those lenses out if they break. I'll be able to change those lenses out if I want to do a different type of shot. I am not able, at least I don't believe, I'm not able to put any kind of a microphone on this camera that I have been able to figure out anyways. I could be wrong. There's definitely things I have not looked into, but it's, you know, you could use this one very similarly where you can hook it to your computer and that kind of stuff. On the side here it has some other doodads and thingamajigs, but there is no place to put a microphone. Therefore, if I do have sound problems or want to go with the mic and I'm further away, maybe later on I'll be doing some different kind of videos, I don't know. But this camera will grow with me. And also, this camera is under $1,000 and does things that most cameras that do what this camera will do cost quite a bit over $1,000 to do. So that was one of the biggest reasons I got this camera right here. And I hope I don't regret it. We shall see. Comment below, please. Not only does that help me maybe later on buy a lens for this thing, and maybe a microphone for this thing, but also it helps my ratings and those kind of things so more people watch my videos. I hope you enjoyed this. I know it wasn't totally about this camera, and quite honestly this is more for me finding out what this camera sounds like. I am yelling somewhat right now, which I tend to do anyway even when I'm filming with this one when I'm further away. So I'll be able to get an idea what the sound sounds like from further away. I'm backlit right now, which happens a lot in my videos. I tend to not have great light in this shop, and most of my lights I move around, but some of them are just here and they are where they are. Hopefully this is all going to change. If you like shop videos, go check it out. This whole shop is going to be changed here not too long away, hopefully. Yet again, this is December of 2023. Hopefully you guys had a good 2023, and hopefully 2024 is better for the both of us. Well, get out there and get your junk working. And I'm sitting here looking at that. I can already tell I'm going to be looking at that. I really need to stop. I need to look at the camera. Alright. Now get out there and get your junk working. Thanks for watching Junkworks Garage, where I'm proud to say I'm a jack of all and master of none. You all have a good one. So there's another one. So N what E O I E I O U. Sometimes Y.